it's Laurel with the dabbling hook, and I'm squinting because it's already 1 o'clock. I had a very lazy day, as I can tell from my face. It was a long work day Friday, and so I treated myself and had a lion. It is the 19th of April, and I uploaded late last night, early this morning, a very long episode because it was clips I was doing from before I got sick, and then a couple towards the end of when I was sick, and I didn't realize there were that many, so it's a little over 2 hours. I think that's a record for me. But since then, obviously, when you're sick and you can't sleep, what does a Yarny do? She makes things, and I have a pile over here of things I've been making. I think maybe there might be a couple that I've shown you, but we're gonna go through them all again. So, and again, there will be a link to a Google Doc with patterns that hopefully I remember. I think most things I did were from either Instagram or YouTube tutorials, or patterns I purchased. So I should be able to put links to everything, but don't mind my squinting because it takes me forever my eye to level out once I, get myself going. My bifocals are just not working out for me. They just mess with me. So I tend not to use them, and my regular glasses are for distance. So, and the readers are fine reading something. The minute I look up, it blurs and just, anyway, all that to say, I'll be squinting, hopefully not through the whole clip. I may have to break this up in two because, of course, as soon as I started this, Minion 2 just came down, so he'll probably be walking through. Alright, so first thing, something I was working on that I've mentioned a couple of times that I was trying to get finished, and obviously I didn't while I was sick, even though I was doing other things. This one, because of the yarn. Not that it took a lot of mental capacity, but it just, the yarn snags and it's slightly difficult to work with. It's the homespun. I was making the Echo cat, so I was working on it. I put it down. I got some done. Put it down because I would rather work on other things, to be honest. So the Echo Claudia it's focusing on everything else. Oh, there you go. Echo in Hellspun. This is the color Prairie. Obviously it's a very woodsy, greens, browns, like rusty orangey colors, even some blues in there. And the nose is done with some Posh. And this is also Hellspun. I forget what color it is. But it's a light pinks, very light greens, I think, if I can even see it. But anyway, yeah. Hellspun Echo. This is my second or third time doing an Echo in Hellspun. Definitely the second, but I'm pretty sure it's the third. So yeah, all done. And the only thing I sew on are the muzzle and ears. Everything else, it's like I mentioned before, the pattern is done in pieces and sewn together, but I do the body in one, and now I crochet in the limbs as well, and the tail. So yep, so for me, very minimal sewing, but it is definitely a sewn pattern normally, but I've made it very low sew because I've done so many of these. I'm pretty sure I've done at least 100, as I've mentioned before. And sorry, my voice is still a little hoarse because the nasally part of being sick for 2 weeks still is trying to linger, so bear with me. So yeah, Echo. And then I'm gonna go through the big things because I have a lot of little things that I made, but I'm gonna go through some of the big ones. Sorry if I sniffle. Well, sorry, not sorry. It's just part of living, you know? The next one is, obviously, it's the year of the dragon, and dragons are everywhere, and I've always loved making dragons. even before it was the year of the dragon. But I didn't do it often, but I love making them. But now they're everywhere, and I'm so here for it. But I bought, I purchased 3 dragon patterns. The Handmade by Jody, which is Diddy Dex. Is that she? And then there is, what is her name? Snugglebean. I think it was the baby snuggler dragon, or the baby dragon, which was another big one I've shown. And then this one is by Lemon Cat Crochet, I believe. It'll be down in the document if I'm wrong. But this is a dragon snuggler, and I'm tempted to make another one and do it stuffed. This one I made out of blanket yarn, so it's pretty big. I'm blocking the light so it doesn't blow out as much, but it is so adorable. So obviously it's a piece pattern. The wings are done a little differently too than the normal wings that you see for dragons. So I kind of like that. It makes it very sturdy as well. So there's that. And then the head, the body is one piece. You gotta sew on the legs and arms. Yeah, it's a so heavy pattern. So, oh, hi. I barely got a wave. Anyway, ice maker. So there'll be that, because you know there's no, what's the word, consideration for anything. It's just they're doing their thing, and that's the zone they're in. But anyway, life noises. So this is Kato the dragon snuggler, obviously, because it's not stuffed. And I kind of like the snuggler idea of it. And I swear, when I'm making the videos is when I notice all the extra bits of fiberfill that sticks out, even though I try my best to pull it all out. But yeah, it's adorable. And I painted some eyes. These are the 35 millimeter, the 30 or 35 millimeter one. I think the 30, I can't remember. 30, 35, 35. I think it's the 35 millimeter one. But yeah, painted it with pink and green. What was it? Pink and gold. I can't remember. Sparkles, and then the mica powder behind it is like a bluish kind of to go with the yarn color. So yeah, I like being able to paint my own eyes, but it is a process. Show up. The tip of my finger has stuff on it from when I was painting. So you have to be careful, obviously, and it's glitter. It gets everywhere if you're not careful. But it's the cleanup process I don't like, because it's a lot. But I can see why people charge what they charge for it, because it's a process. But it's cool to be able to paint my own eyes. So there's that. So yeah, Kato, very snuggly, obviously. So that I will definitely be making another one of these, another one of the Snuggle Bean ones as well at some point for the fall. Not depends. Yeah, obviously if this one sells at my upcoming spring fair, one's on May 3rd, one's on June 7th. If they sell, obviously I'll make another one, but excuse me. Since I'm on dragons, I made 2 more Diddy decks. It's just like, it's so adorable. Like, it's a good size. Obviously you could make it in bigger yarn and get bigger sizes, but it's like holding it like that. It's just so freaking adorable. And both of them have more hand painted eyes. These are the 16 millimeter ones, and I hope you can see that. There you go. I try to do the colors to match that. And then this one was the one I painted before. It's just some browns And obviously I've got brown hair, and the yarn's got a little bit of light tan in there, but it's more grays and blues. This is a yarn that I think Lisa of Happy to Hook, hey Lisa, she bought some off Temu, and then on Amazon there's very similar yarn. It's probably the same yarn, and I bought it in a 5-pack, I think, or a 6-pack. Came with a solid white, and then there's a green variegated, blue, pink, there's a purple one, and a very beigey and gray color one. So it's just adorable. I used Posh for this wing. I used some Big Twist Premium, very old, way before discontinued, for the horns, because I don't seem to have, or I don't want to use a 2.5mm hook and use worsted to get a smaller horn, so I don't mind the horn being a little bigger. And then this one, I use some Posh and Baby Bear mixed together, because it's the Posh Croissant and the Baby Bear, very similar colorway. So I held them together because the Baby Bear is a little thinner. This Posh, the strawberry something or raspberry something, it's one of the non-smooth, thicker type ones. So I was able to double, because the croissant is not as thick and rough. Oh, and I used some worsted weight yarn held with Feels Like Bliss. And it's Bliss, it comes out lovely, but it's the slipperiness and the stretchiness makes it very difficult to get good tension on it. So again, kudos to the people who use it alone to make, I know, I think it's Crochet by Patty, I think. She makes these little, I think it's her, turtles with the Feels Like Bliss, and it looks adorable, but I just can't imagine doing a whole turtle in that, because it's too much for the hand. I held it with Impeccable, and if you notice, the Impeccable out there now is so different than what it originally was. The old Impeccable kind of reminded me of Karen 1 Pound, had that kind of consistency, but the new one is almost, it's almost like a Bernat satin kind of feel to it. It's like if you put like a regular worsted, like Red Heart Super Saver and Bernat satin mixed together, it's kind of that consistency. It's soft. It's nothing like the old Impeccable, and I don't think I like it, actually. It's just not Impeccable anymore. So they changed the formula, and I don't like it. But I bought a beige one to go with the Feels Like Bliss. And I think it works out perfectly. Look at that. It's just, oh, love it. But I love these. You know, it's a lot of little pieces you have to make, but it's well worth once you, oh, look at that. Once you put them together. So, dragons everywhere. All right, next big one is, pretty sure it's LA Crochet. She has a pattern for this, but she has a tutorial on it as well. Or she just came out with a tutorial for her spluting, I'm saying it slow because it doesn't want to come out, spluting Triceratops. And mine feels like it's a little, and I keep finding all the fiberfill where it sticks out when I was sewing the tail on. That's the only, no, the tail and the horn or the frill, those are the two things that you have to sew on. And all the little bits of the fiberfill popping through. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway, I'll fix that. But the legs are very wobbly. Oh, looks like it's running to keep up. Wait for me. But that's the idea of it. It's spluting down on itself. So I just used whatever I had available, which was some blanket frosting. And then this was the blanket twist, and I used some, I think this was the Michael's yarn, the not good formula of it. It's not as smooth as the Home Slim, but it worked. So, spluting Triceratops. She has a written pattern for sale, I think, in her Etsy shop, but she has a free tutorial on her channel. So there's that. As you can see, I was just using up the, the frill is the same color as the horn. I'm just trying to use up so I don't have so much big scraps left. Okay, the other big thing, the Posh yarn that it's either the strawberry raspberry colorway that's not very smooth and it's actually thicker than the rest of them. I wanted to use it up, and I'm like, oh, it's a perfect color for strawberry. So I think Avalon Crochet is the one who I looked up strawberries. I could have done it myself, but in like, if it's out there, just make it from the tutorial. So Avalon Crochet has a tutorial for this. I think it's Avalon Crochet, definitely Avalon in the name. So I followed her tutorial to make this one, and I just used some of the Posh to do, instead of white, I did orangey yellow seeds on it. So there's that big one, trying to use up the yarn, the rest of the yarn. So I still had more left. So I decided to, I was watching somebody else's tutorial and I didn't like the way it was increasing, so I kind of did my own. I started it with that person's tutorial, I don't remember who it was, and then I just did my own thing, because it's basic kind of gradual increases is the strawberry, and there are patterns out there that have slightly different shapes, because when you buy a thing of strawberries, they're all different shapes. You have some long ones, some fat ones, so basically do your own thing. Club Crochet, is it Club Crochet? He did a tutorial of somebody else's pattern he was in collaboration with, and I like the top. I did mine slightly different from his, but I took the basic idea of what he was doing and I did my petals. It looks like the same shape. His is just slightly different than mine, but basically it's from that tutorial. I use that because I like the way that looks opposed to that, but it's nice to have variety, right? So I started this with somebody else's tutorial, did my own thing to finish, and just some white worsted, the impeccable. I used it to do the seeds, and what I find with this impeccable, it fuzzes a lot, so I thought it was like stuffing showing through it, and it's actually the yarn fuzzing out. So another reason why I'm not a fan of the new formula of impeccable. So that's 2, and then I had a tiny bit left. I'm determined to get rid of that yarn because I used it here, I used it in turtles, did I? And I think in one of the turtles I showed before, the fruit turtles. So I just decided to do my own little, it's basic again, increase, but what's her name? Wonder Crochet did a tutorial for a little one. So I followed it, I think. No, again, I started with her increase, but I wouldn't have had enough yarn, so I finished it my own way. And then I just did my own top and added, because it was so small, I added a keychain. So that colorway of Posh is all gone now. And I literally had what was left, I actually stuffed it in here. So I used all the rest of it. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, 18 minutes. I'm gonna go as far as I can because I actually have to go walking with a friend in like 20 minutes. So I have like 5 more minutes and then I'll come back. What else? This is an elephant. Elephants did okay for me last craft fair season, but I had bigger ones. So I was looking for smaller ones, and the no-sew one that's an Instagram pattern, it did okay, but not so okay for me. I still have a couple from last year, and I'm probably going to put it in a mystery box, a grab bag, and be done with it. But there was this no-sew tutorial on YouTube, and I thought it was easy, and I think it was a little too involved for to make something quick. Maybe it was just me and still being in the 6 zone, but it's just it's all no-sew. You make the ears and then you pick it up as you go around, and the whole thing. It's no-so. But it got a little involved and tight in the head, so not sure I'll be doing another one. I might try it again to see if it was just my foggy brain at the time, but yeah. There's that. I did make 2 more ice cream cones for my pattern. I gave this one a chocolate cone this time because that's what I had at the time. And then this is the Fluffy Flex, basically a Bernat blanket with flex in it, from Michaels. So I had mentioned I had the orangey color, or the sherbet orange color, so I just made, but it has the rainbow backing on there. That's from an old order of eyes I've had for a while. But yeah, Posh and Baby Bear at the bottom, or Posh at the bottom. It's either Posh or Baby Bear at the bottom. Definitely Posh at the bottom, and Posh. So 2 of those. Another tutorial is so wonky. No matter how hard I try, I think I'd have to put like 1,000 pins in to hold things straight. But the sewing, well, this was a tutorial on YouTube because I wanted to do pig, and I showed the squish pig I did from Maryless. It was a free pattern last time, and this was a no-sew tutorial on YouTube, and I was following along where she said to put it, and it came out crooked. So I'm going to try this again, but I'm going to hold off. What did I do? I forget what it is I did, but obviously following it came out crooked. So it's a very inquisitive pig looking at you going like, huh? What's going on? So everything came out crooked. Even, I think I purposely sewed the nose on crooked because the ears were put in crooked. So yeah. Yeah, the nose is the only thing you have to sew on after the fact. Oh, and attach and do the tail. And my battery's blinking, so this is a good place to pause, and I will start back after my walk, or I may have to go do something, so I may be back tomorrow. Who knows? Later today or tomorrow, right before the battery kicks in or clicks off. I'll see you guys later. Okay, I'm back. It is 4:07. Walk was good, and what was I? I don't know where I was. Okay, I'll just start with what's in front of me. And oh, I think I got a bad batch of fiberfill. The previous one I had was what it used to be like. There would be little bits of stuff falling off, but not bad. The couple before that, it was just falling all over the place. This one, it's like long fibers are falling all over the place. So anyway, it's sticking out more than it typically does, so who knows. All right, what's next? Last time I had said, I'd mentioned before from the previous video that I was going to do mini turtles. Well, I had to do mini turtles. They do pretty well for me. I have all sizes. I have mini turtles. These I just wing. So I have my own formula that I do now. This is all Posh. So I was trying for tone on tone. It's got blue, with a little mouth. And then this one, I was following somebody's pattern because I wanted to see, because I usually just do bobbles for the feet or the flippers. And this one, I forget. I'll have to see if I remember if it was a tutorial. Little flippers to make it little sea turtles, I guess, because the bobbles could really be little land ones. But anyway, so this is the orange and pink, opposite pink and orange, and then pink and the glow, strawberry glow, warm strawberry, whatever it's called. And obviously, again, I ran out, so I added that to it. I like to use up as much of the scraps as possible. All of these have embroidered eyes. Oh, for a second this one actually looked like a safety eye. Embroidered. I was trying to go for having to do less embroidering, so I just did the little slit on that one, and I added the white because it was looking odd. And then this one is just black without the highlights. That one's also embroidered. And then I think that's all I have in this batch. Did a chocolate one. Oh, it does have, it's hiding. It does have the highlight. I need to pull this one out a bit. And then I had some scraps from doing the dragon, the Diddy Dax, and also some scraps left of blanket yarn. So again, I made some of these stingrays, my preferred stingrays to do. So I'll put these away. Oh, I didn't show that one. I have the croissant and the bright pink. And this, I don't remember if this bird was a tutorial. It was. And I didn't like the way it came out. So I just added it to a swing. And the swing is just some really old stash of glittery yarn that I have. And the wings on this one were very forward, so I just kind of pulled it and stitched it back over the strap to keep it in place. So it looks a little odd, but it is what it is. And this was a tutorial on YouTube. Since I was doing the All from J Caterpillar, I saw this one, and yeah, it's all in one, and then you pick up and do the, did you do it after? Yes, after. You surfaced on the antenna after. So I may try this one again. I did this when I was like well into being sick and tired and all that, so I was like, okay, I'm over this, but I want to try it again. Okay, all the mini, well, I was gonna say all the mini ones. You're gonna hear crinkling because I got a big bag of stuff over here. All right, I did some axolotls. They do pretty well, sometimes better than others. You just never know, and I'm trying to see all of them. This is a tutorial by, I think that's all of them, or most of them anyway, by Loops and Knots Crochet. She had done a tutorial a year ago, and she said that, you know, her pattern writing and style has improved, so she re-released another tutorial of her mini axolotl. And in the tutorial at the end, she shows 3 different sizes of the different yarns that she uses. I just went with, these are all Bernat blanket yarn. And oh, one of them I doubled up with the, what do you call it? Feels Like Bliss with the Impeccable. But it's basically a tiny little axolotl. Tiny. So there's this one. So this is Bernat blanket in sand or something, and some of the twist color. This is the frosting one, and I used the Posh, so it really pops. And as you can see, it's a little on the crooked side, and I think, oh, now that I'm looking at it, it's really crooked. I'm gonna have to redo that one. Put that aside. Again, the twist with the raspberry color. So tiny. The twist with some Bernat blanket. I forget whatever color that is, but so yeah. Another twist. Again, trying to use it up. And all the eyes are embroidered on there. It's just too tiny to put in a safety eye. Did I show that one? So another of the baby sand. And then that's the color that's on the frill. And then this one is, and the eyes are like way too big because it came out so tiny, is the Impeccable with the Feels Like Bliss. Look at that. Can you focus on it? Look at it. The eyes are like way big. And that's some Posh in the bright orange. So yeah, this is the size difference. I should put it on top. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 of them that I did all in pretty much, I think, one sitting. So that next thing, I've had this on my to-do list for the longest time. It keeps moving. It's more of a restock. It's nothing new, but this is my formula for my possum and all the fiber fill. I don't ever remember it poking out the way this one does. So I have quite a few of them that I did. Oh, good gracious. I didn't count. How many did I do? I didn't count. I don't know. Is that all? I think that's all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, awesome. This is, I think Hirschner's, the yarn that they have on sale. This is the 5.3 ounce skein. I think it was like $3.99 or $4.99. Yeah. So I bought it. It's either Hirschner's or Mary Maxim that I bought from. And then I just used some, a whip stitch on the nose, and I just used some Posh for that in the tail. So there's one. Then I used the same yarn, and I used some, this one I started with the pink. I don't like starting with the pink because I hate changing the color after just one round, but I started with the pink, and this is some blanket yarn. Yeah, this is some blanket yarn in like a mauve-y color. So that, and then let's see, who else did I did like 4 or 5 of them with the color change. So I have some off Hirschner's. I bought some rainbow yarn. It's like a number 5 blanket yarn type, or blanket style chenille yarn. So did that, and the same yarn, and just the pink with the same yarn. And they all look a little different depending on where that color changes. This one I whip stitched the nose. I whip stitched it with, where did that go? Oh, that one. This yarn was the nose. And whip stitch with some blanket yarn, I think. I think it's blanket yarn. So yeah, I was trying to use up a whole skein, I think, or most of the skein that I had started. And then this one is in the, it's not gray, it's just the baby sand color. And for some reason it dipped here. I couldn't get it to stuff properly. But that's that. And then this one with the bright, that rough Posh raspberry color yarn. And I think I did most of them with safety eyes, and I think this is the only one that has, no, I have 2 of them that have embroidery. I wasn't feeling up to embroidering, so this one does all the others. And then this little one is with, I think Parfait Chunky's the gray, and then the white and the pink is that yarn from Hirschner's that comes in the 2-pack, the $8 pack, the chenille, the unlabeled one. So that's the black, the white, and the pink. So that's a tiny one compared to the others because it's in different yarn. Oh, I don't know if I showed that one. That's the last one. That one's whip stitched whip stitch with the yarn, 2 different yarns. This I think is some of the old Michael's Home Slim, and then you see the difference, that's the Bernat blanket yarn. Alright, going back to axolotls, these are patterns from Instagram, 2 different patterns. One is a really tiny one in the picture that I'm trying to find what else is in here. In the picture on Instagram, it's tiny, it's like palm size, so it's a little baby axolotl, but of course I use blanket yarn and a bigger hook, and it came out. So in the picture it literally sits in the palm, but this one obviously is bigger. So same pattern, you just get bigger bang for your buck. The only thing I did different, I added 1 extra round here between the legs, but otherwise it's the same pattern, so just in bigger yarn. So, and I think these 2 might be my go-to for the time being. Well, depends on how they sell. That, and then the mini one from Loops and Knots. And then this one is by, it's a more recent one I saved. I don't remember. Of course, the link will be down below. But, so this is the Michael's and blanket yarn. And the Michael's one, it's so rough, it feels almost like a blanket yarn. But this is the bad formula. But I think it's a Michael's. Pretty sure it's Michael's. Yeah, it just didn't feel like the rest. Oh, and this one, I can see I ran out and I wouldn't have had enough to finish the tail, so I stopped and did it in pink. This is that, again, Hirschner's unlabeled chenille in the pack. So I finished it there, did the contrast for the frill, and then I used the rest that was left to just do that. So just, it ties in. It's like it was meant to be. That was just because I ran out. Yep. And this one has the same yarn I used in the Didi decks. I use that for the frill. And it coordinates because it has some of the colors in here. And embroidered eyes, I don't think I'm gonna put the highlight in there. And then safety eyes. So this one I did per pattern for the frill, and I didn't like the way it looks, so I just adjusted it to fit my needs here. So I think I'm good on axolotls for now. Oh, for possum, I've had this pattern from I bought a pack from Madeline Mayco, I'm pretty sure, and in there there's it's the bitty belly, or the itty bitty ones. There's a possum, there's a raccoon, there is a turtle, and there's something else, but this is the first time I'm making one of them. So I wanted to make the raccoon, but at the time I didn't have just gray yarn, but I have this this is the other gray that came in the pack from Amazon, like these. So this is the gray one. I think it's grays and blues. No, mostly grays. All grays. Grays in a light, really light tan color. So I used it for the raccoon. And this is the Hirschner's multi-pack yarn. Hirschner's. And the white is the white that came with this pack from Amazon. So still pulling out fluff all over the place. Yeah. And it is all, no, it's not no-sew. I can't remember if you were supposed to pick this up and include it, which I didn't, so I just sewed this on. I can't remember. And then this is done, it's sewn in, and I was going to crochet it in and completely forgot, so I had to sew it in anyway. And then this is sewn in. I think if I do this again, I would make this just a little shorter. I don't like how long this is. Personal preference. And then the ears. When you look at the picture, the ears look tall, but when I finished it, it looked a little short, so I just added one extra round to the ears to make it a little bigger. But yeah, possum. So my possum versus, that's hers. I want to do this again with the gray, the solid gray. All right, next, almost done, is another Instagram pattern that is, I think that's it. Dinosaur. I thought I made 4. Guess I didn't. Thought I did. Guess I didn't. So first one I made, this is off Amazon. This is off Instagram. Don't remember who by, but again, will be down below. So this is clearance yarn from, pretty sure it's Hirschner's, or it could be Mary Max. It's one of the two. Yeah, so is this. So I have quite a bit of chenille or blanket yarn. I went a little crazy. Actually, I still have some coming that's on back order. So I'm pretty sure it's Hirschner's, because I have 2 different back orders. I got one yesterday, but part of it is, one item is on back order, and the one I got before, I got 1 item and like 3 or 4 items are on back order. So yeah, I still have more coming, and it's more of like the variegated type yarns like this that's on back order. So, and I don't know why they still have it. They still have it as showing, but it's always on back order when it comes time to shipping. So anyway, so this is the old blanket, the thick blanket style. So you definitely can take a smaller pattern and get something substantial out of it because the yarn is so thick. It's not that really soft version now. So the only thing I did different when I did subsequent ones, I just made the bobbles a little bigger. But other than that, and I added, it doesn't come with the mouth. You know I like to add the mouth, especially a nice crooked mouth. So there's that. And then I did this one. Blues on blues. And blues. This blue is the same as this. And I just did it with some gray that I had a little bit of leftover. So embroidered eyes, and the other 2 have, this is just a blue sparkly safety eye, and then just regular black eye. I need to put a smile on this one, or a mouth on this one. Alright, almost there. 3 more things to do, 3 more types of things to show. I did 2 more turtles. This is the Michael's Fluffy Flex, and it's what I had left over after I show you this other project. But I had a little left over, so I was able to get a shell out of it, so I just used that tan sand color of blanket and just made a quick turtle, my formula. So is this. I mentioned before, I have a little cheat sheet in Excel. I mapped out depending on how big I make the shell, if it's 36 stitches, 30, 24, 18, or 16. Those are the different size shells that I make, and then I map out what stitches I want to attach the fins to. So I have that in I did it in Excel, and then I screen grabbed it and saved it as a JPEG, so it's in my photos that I can always refer back to it. And the eyes probably won't show. There's a lot of reflection on it, but the eyes are hand painted with mica powder, and I forget what colors I used, but they kind of blended into each other and made a kind of gray blue color. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a gray and blue that I used, but hand painted eyes. So those 2, and then I want to definitely missing. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I did, oh my gosh, the fiberfill sticking out like crazy, like never before. It's gonna drive me mad. But I made I did say I wasn't going to do any more chickens, but I've been seeing a lot of people mentioning Stardew Valley, some game that I know nothing about, but I'm like, cute little blue chicken. So I looked it up and I decided to just make a little blue chicken, and the tail was shaped a little weird, so I think I got a good representation of the tail. So yeah, this one is just a regular Mabel chicken, and then I just added the head to it. But Stardew Valley, I'm gonna do a couple more of these. I think I have blue. It's the same blue that's in the dino. So 3 chickens. I'm not making a whole mess of chickens. It's whatever I decide to make. Anything special or whatever. I think I have some odd combos left in my stash. Okay, and then the last thing, hopefully don't shut up. I think I have like maybe a minute left. I always tend to have a big octo as a focal point, and I had 3 over last season and they all sold, but I wanted to use up the rest of the Fluffy Fleck yarn from Michaels, so. Oh, there we go. So I just made a jumbo octo. If you compare it to the chicken, it's big. He's big. And then the eyes, I hand painted the eyes again with mica powder to kind of go with this. So it's got a bluish green tint to it. So yeah. The orange one, I'm gonna make another one with the orange one just to use up the yarn, because unless I'm making ice cream cones, I really don't have a need for the fleck yarn. So I'm just gonna use it up and make another jumbo octo. So yeah, and I'm seeing the fiber fill sticking up everywhere. All right, before it shuts off, that's it for this clip, and we'll see. This is gonna be long, I think. So I may just do this as another upload. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hi. Hey, it's Laurel with Dabbling Hook. How are you? Today is April 29th already. It is a quintessential spring day out. The sun is out. You can probably, hopefully, it's not coming across too loud, but you can hear vehicle sounds. Windows are open. There is a good breeze going. Curtains are fluttering. It's just, yeah. If it could stay like this, I think I'd be okay. There's still a little bit of a chill from the breeze, but the sun's out and it's just lovely. So that I can live with. And summer, of course. Allie, I know, it's not your favorite time. Fall is only good for the colors and that like cozy feeling in the air, but that's all. It's a harbinger to winter, and it can go bye-bye as far as I'm concerned after that. But anyway, yeah, spring and summer. Anyway, I have my first of 2 spring craft fairs this Saturday, and I'm still making stuff because I like to, and I have a lot of yarn, and I bought a lot of yarn. Oh my god, I just keep buying whenever I get those sale notifications, especially the free or reduced shipping, because we know that the Hirschners and the Mary Maxman Premier, the shipping is astronomical. I think I had stuff in my Mary Maxim card, one of the 3, and I was just putting it in there for shits and giggles, and when I saw the shipping, it was over half of what the items were, and of course I buy all the on sale or clearance items, so it was like no. So whenever I get the reduced shipping or free shipping or 31-cent shipping, I just got from Hirschner's. I did a purchase all within this week. One under free shipping, one under 31-cent shipping, and I think Mary Maxim had a $4.99 shipping. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of yarn buying. Blanket yarn, because I pretty much, for all intents and purposes, switched over to all blanket and chenille type yarns for my amigurumi. Yes, I will still make stuff out of acrylic, but my hands are getting so, what's the word? It hurts a lot more now when I use acrylic and thinner yarn, so, but I'm not giving it up totally. But anyway, all this to say, I made a few more things before the craft fair. I actually have two things, well, one whip right now, amigurumi whip. I have plenty of other whips. One amigurumi whip that I started last night, and then another one I just wanted to start. Annie Caraway's, she has a fox pattern, and I'm pretty sure I have a couple of purchased fox patterns, and I don't know why my brain won't let me just make those instead of always gravitating to all the new stuff. Ooh, look, something new. So I'm making concerted effort to make stuff from the patterns I bought, but I'm not there yet because I just realized I bought a really big, almost splooting like capybara. It looks big in the pattern, and I still haven't made it yet, so that'll be next on the list. All right, what are we here for? What did I make? I thought it was more than that. One, I pulled this yarn color out because I got new yarn and I went to bring it because I have to put it in the basement now because I just don't have any more room in my office / craft room. And then I'm like, I should use one of the yarns I bought. So this is Annie Caraway's pattern. I pretty much do my own loaf pattern, but since this has been all over the place, and I said I wasn't going to buy it because I can really make a loaf cat based on tutorials I'd seen way before her pattern, like years ago. There were a few patterns on YouTube for loaf cats, and I modified it so much to fit me that it's pretty much mine. But the concept came from YouTube tutorials way before this. But since everyone's been making this, I figured I'd follow her tutorial, and it's pretty much what I thought it was. The only thing I wanted to see really was her ears, because the way I do my ears, I'm not quite at the stage where I love it yet. So I wanted to see hers, and it's pretty much what I do. The only thing I don't like color changing and doing the tuxedo cat, where it's white here. No, it's the color there but white on the sides, because I don't like color changing. I just prefer using the variegated yarn. But yeah, this is hers from her tutorial, so I finally can see I got that done. What did I get? This is a little eagle from Sweet Softies, and I was looking for something on Pinterest, I think. I don't remember. I think I was searching for something, and this came up, and I'm like, oh, I'll just make one. The arms, I think there's a typo in her written pattern, because it says to do 3 double crochets in each of the next stitches, but when you if you look closely at the picture, it doesn't look like that. It just, I think she meant work a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches instead of 3 double crochets in the next. So mine came out a little extra because of that. It kind of looks like it's about to, it's fluffing its wings. It's about to take off or something. So I may give this another try. We'll see how this goes, what interests I see at the craft fair, because I typically just have the chicks or the mallards and things like that. So we'll see. There's that. Oh, and the yarn for this is all Posh. Ooh, I'm sure you guys have all heard, because by the time this comes out, this will be way late, but Hirschner's is going to carry Big Twist. I just saw Marley Bird post a video about that, so I need to go listen to see if she knows. She has to scoop on which yarns are going to be there. Of course they're going to have to do Posh, right, because everybody's talking about wanting Posh, so hopefully. I knew somebody would pick it up. The way how popular the Big Twist yarns are, I think somebody was just waiting in the wings just to be able to pick it up and start carrying it. So I was, in the back of my mind, I always said that somebody's gonna pick it up, but I was hopeful, but I'm glad to see that somebody did. But anyway, this is a mochi cat tutorial on YouTube. Just ran across, and we're all doing the cats, the loaf cats, and it's kind of like the the chicken. When Mabel chicken came up, everybody was making it, and then because it's so popular, it goes by quick. Like, people are like, oh look, chickens, but how many chickens are people gonna buy? But then we start like modifying it. I like to see the chicken with a bit of a head instead of just the regular Mabel chicken form, so I modified it to do my own thing, basically. But same with the cat. It's like, it's nice to see slightly different ones. This one is basically a ball, the base kind of flattened. So instead of loaf, it's the mochi. And it was all done no-sew. Yep, the tail is done as you go, just all no-sew. And you can do different eyes. She has the eyes going down like that. She also had a picture of it going sideways, and I kind of like that. But now, of course, you could do safety eyes. So there's that. And I did that while I was on a conference call, because the people on a call were going on and on and on about stuff that had nothing to do with me. So I figured I'd use my time more constructively. Okay. The other thing I did, I wanted to see how big I should have brought one to compare, but I wanted to see how big the Diddy decks would look in plush, Big Twist plush. That's another one I hope they also bring, because it's blanket yarn, but just slightly thicker than blanket. So yeah, you know what? Let me go get the one I did in, actually, I don't have one in just regular blanket. The one I have is in more of a chenille, softer type yarn, so it came out smaller anyway, but it came out a nice, decent size. I did the tail, when I make the others, the pattern calls for half double crochet, and I usually just use single crochet for the tail. I think it gives it more sturdiness in case you know, kid grabs it by their less stretching. If it's single crochet, it's tighter. But I started it in that, and it was kind of hurting my hands, so I did about here in single crochet, and then I did the rest in as the pattern said. But yeah, plush in, I forget the colorway, some like water name colorway, and then the eyes are just I hand painted with mica powder. So because it was I painted eyes for a project I was working on, and I used the extra to paint a couple extra, so I don't have a variety of different colors. I paint it as I go, and instead of wasting whatever's left, I just, you know, paint some other eyes. So I had extra mica powder mix, so I painted these, and this is more of a pinky, I think it was pink and gold, so it kind of moves as you the color changes as you move it. So because it was pink, I decided to use some pink for the horns. And this is Bernat Blanket. This is that old spongy thick formula, so I like it for the wings because it's a bit more sturdy. But yeah, too cute. These are so adorable, like just holding it like that. Oh, so adorable. One thing though, I've made like 4 of these now, 4, and in the picture it looks like there's more of a slope or a jump or more of a definition here, and none of mine end up like that. So I don't know if she actually shaped the face, it doesn't say in the pattern, but when I try different, you know, indentations, I'm not quite liking it, so I didn't bother shaping it. Either way, still cute, and it's a bit blown out because again, I'm by the window. There you go. So this is a dark teal color, and this is some aqua something something water-ish name, and I do make the tail a little longer than it calls for. All right, the other thing I made, I've had this on my to-do list for months, almost a year. I don't think the tutorial has been a year yet, maybe it has, or months, whatever, but it's a free tutorial on YouTube by Sweet Creek Patterns. She looks very young. She looks like she's 12, but maybe she's just somebody who looks very young. Let's see, what was I trying to say? It's Octave the Octopus, and I have 2 octo patterns out there, and I've always planned on doing a third. I actually made a prototype, but it didn't come out quite the way, and back then this is what I wanted. And I know there are a lot of patterns out there now that look like that. And in doing this, I know I was on the right path when I did mine, because up to here, mine kind of mimics this. And I did mine like 2 or 3 years ago, but I never followed up with it to have like a trio of octo patterns is what I wanted. What was I saying? So anyway, YouTube tutorial. The pattern's also on the person's blog. So yeah, hers was done in like the orangey flecky yarn, Bernat. I forget what the name is, but I figured, again, I'm trying to use the yarns that I bought. Oops, the yarns that I bought. A lot of the yarns that I bought. So I had leftover after doing the cat, so I decided to use it to do that. And then I used, the outline of it is similar type variegated, but in like beiges and off-whites and grays. So it's not as noticeable, but you can tell that there's a different trim. The one on the pattern in the tutorial is very different. It's the Tweety Fleck yarn from Blanket, Bernat Blanket, and then she outlined it in an orange color. So there's very distinct difference in the colors. But she also tells you that for the eye baubles, you can either do it bigger or smaller. I went with the smaller one. And when I was doing this, I did not have safety eyes with me at the time, so I just ended up embroidering it. And I think I might end up doing that going forward. I made another one, and I'll tell you why. I might end up just embroidering going forward. Just makes it way more obviously baby safe, and just, I think, more huggable. But yeah, hers comes with little suckers that you have to crochet, and she crocheted a whole lot of them, and I'm like, yeah, no, little ones, and then you have to tie them on. I wasn't about that. She did it in worsted weight yarn, and I was thinking of just doing just whip stitching, you know, over a couple of them, but they won't be round, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. Doesn't really need it. So I used, after I did the Diddy decks, I had some of the Posh left. I still have a good sized ball left of it. So I decided to do another one, and you can see the difference. Obviously I had to use a bigger hook for this, but because it's a bigger yarn, but you can see there's definitely a difference in the size. And I used the, all the colors I used on the Diddy decks, I just used on here. So you can see the contrast. I did do safety eyes on this one, and the reason I would stick to embroidering, some of the baubles sometimes tend to have gaps in it, and this eye, I always put glue on the backs just to extra secure it, on the back on the inside before I put the backing on. So it's, you know, the backing's on, and then there's also glue to the yarn, so it's extra secure. But this one, there was a bit of a gap in the bauble, so it looked like the eye could, well, not look like, the eye could easily be pulled until it comes out, even though it's glued on. So I did add extra glue to hold it down, and then there was just a slight gap in the yarn, so I decided to give it a little bit of highlight, which is getting pulled in. So I put highlights on both the eyes, which you can barely see. Oh well. Just to kind of hide the space, but that's why I think I will stick to just embroidering the eyes going forward. If I make another, which I do want to make one in orange, like it was on the pattern, because I like the look of that, but using what I have at the time. I plan on working on a fox from Annie Caraway, and it's orange, so if I have enough left, I will definitely use it to make another one of those. Will it be done before Saturday's craft fair? Don't know. don't know. Okay, the last thing, the one thing that I have, you can hear crinkling, sorry not sorry. The whip I'm working on is it's a dog, like a husky dog from Instagram. I've had it marked for a while, and then I had this yarn sitting there, and in the picture it's a gray body with white muzzle and paws and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, that'll work perfect, because I hate color changing and I kind of like how splotchy this is. And this, I want to make a cow, but I didn't want to do the color changing for the patches, and I think this type of variegated would work perfectly. So this is the husky. I have the body, I have the head, the muzzle, the little white piece that goes here between the eyes. Those are done. I just need to make the limbs. But I started this last night, obviously when I couldn't sleep again. All right, the last thing to show you, hopefully this doesn't cut off. I think I have about 4 minutes. I got picked to test for One Dog Wolf, Chiwe. Rose, like, hey Rose. Rose uses her jellyfish pattern a lot, so that One Dog Wolf. She has it's the year of the dragon, so she has a dragon pattern coming out. I will say, obviously it's still in testing, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we've been able to share on Instagram, so I figured we can share elsewhere as well. It is not a beginner's pattern, I will say that up front. It is a combination of traditional amigurumi for the headpiece, and then after the headpiece it gets into a different way of doing it. Short rows is different than the way you think of short rows. It's the whole piece. It's just the hind legs are done in that short row style. If you want a challenge, it's for you. If you are a very, very adventurous beginner, you could probably try it, but it's definitely not a beginner's pattern, and it's definitely there. It'll be a challenge for you. A challenge as far as, not that it's not doable or you won't be able to do it, but a challenge in that it's different from the norm of just going around in circles type of thing. So let me show you the first one I did. I used blanket yarn in a misty green color, and then the twist yarn in a similar colorway, but it is freaking adorable. I think yarn matters for this pattern. The ones that she has, one that's tiny, I think she used like hand-dyed yarn for some of them. If you use acrylic, it's going to come out small. I tried twice in acrylic and it just wasn't working. So I went to what I was comfortable with, which is blanket yarn or the thicker yarns. So, you ready? Isn't that, oh sorry, it's so blown out by the window, but isn't that adorable? Now, I've seen a lot of patterns out there in the shape, the sleeping dragon shape, and this is a similar look to it, but it's just done in a way different way than normal. So yeah, you will definitely learn something new doing this, but it is just, and the tail, tension is a thing with this. I guess I really have tight tension, because in her picture the tail does curve, you know, so it's the head is on the tail, but hers, in her picture, the tail is a little straighter, but mine curves all the way, which I actually adore. I prefer that. Like, it's, you know, it totally cozies in and curls its tail under itself, and it's lying on it, but it's just so cute. And I thought I was good at embroidering the eyes, but for some reason, I think I got better. I did a second one. I got better at that, but it's definitely gonna cut off on me. But look, oops, as I drop. But see, you drop it and you grab the tail, and look at that curvature. It's just absolutely adorable. She has a couple of horn options to try, but it's just, yeah, I think you'll like that. When it's coming out, not sure. She's had a few life interruptions, or delays, I should say. You know, it's life, things happen, but it's still in testing. So probably in the next month or so, this is gonna come out, I think. Don't quote me on that, but so cute. So next one, I wanted to try to get a little better on it, because like I said, this was try number 3, and I decided to use Bernat Blanket again, but I used the older formula yarns. It's thicker and spongier, and it just, tension matters. Like this one curved where it's just sitting, this one the head is more forward facing. My tail just, it has, I knew it was gonna shut off on me. The tail has a very distinct look to it. We're not gonna get into that. My dirty mind. But it came out a little longer. I did add 2 plain rows to this to try to straighten it out a bit. It didn't help. It's just, 1, my tension, 2, this yarn, because it's just so thick and stiff, it's not going to play so much. So the tail just curved right around like a scarf, and it sticks up. There it is, over there. And then, yeah, the horn looks like it came out, yeah, way bigger than this one ended up coming out. Maybe not. It's just the yarn is thicker. Both of these are like the old formula, and it's very thick and spongy, which adds to the face not being exactly the shape. It won't stretch as much to fill, so you can't shape it as much, but I don't mind it. I think I got a little better with the eyes. That one I like. That's the way it's supposed to look, at least I think. But anyway, wings. And because this curves so much, I had to put pins in to try to map out where I needed to do, because this is surfaced on, so it's just very curved. But yeah, it's just, look at them. This was done with a 4.5mm hook, and it's a softer Bernat, the new formula, and this was done in a 6.5mm hook, so obviously it'll be bigger, but the yarn itself is thicker. So this does look like it's just a little too big. Maybe it could be a row less, or at least if I use this thickness of yarn again, I'll probably go down a hook size for the horn to make it a little smaller. But yeah, so be on the lookout for when this comes out. It's supposed to be lying down a little more. And you are able to like move it and, you know, zhuzh it around, and especially because it curves, you can really play with what you want it to do. But yeah, love it. Tempted to do another one, but deadline for testing is tomorrow, the 30th. Obviously doesn't stop me from making another one, but I need to write up notes and stuff. So awesomeness. So that is what I've done so far. I don't know if I will have another clip for Saturday. So, and I think with the 3 clips I've done, this and the other 2 clips I've done, it's gonna be about an hour. So I think I will just leave it at that and catch up after the craft fair. All right, bye.